Hi everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Silver Moira. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all of that good stuff. So I don't mind opening with a damage orb here, but please don't peek 10 seconds early for it.
4, 3.
Anyone can have come over here and been like, oh, there's a Moira. Oh, let me switch to Widow real quick. Or let me get our DPS player over here to switch to Widow. And then, boom, and you get deleted right as you think you're doing that. So I don't mind the damage orb, but be sneaky about it. Be like, I'm going to wait here, I'm going to wait here, I'm going to wait here, I'm going to wait here. And just before the match starts, I'm going to throw it so it has its travel time. Or just as the match starts, I'm going to throw it so they don't have time to adjust and go, oh, quick, get out of Widow or Mercy, whatever. No. We don't like that.
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Okay, 8%.
Injured again. This will restore you.
So, here's how this works. You're here. You can play here, where you can heal your hog, zap them over here, peek behind cover. If you want to play there, that's fine with me. It's not amazing, but it's fine with me.
This will restore you.
You can't play here, because here, your opponents have sightlines on you, and if they, come through here, have sightlines on you, but you can't reach them, and you can't immediately get behind cover. You'd have to, run up here to get behind cover, or you'd have to be like, let me walk all the way over here. Let me go force my way closed on this. Let me run over here and force my way closed on this. It takes too long for you to use cover. So you can either stand in places where you can go, hey, I can zap you, or I can heal. Or you can stand in places, if zapping them isn't an option, where you go, well, I can stand to the side and heal at least. Those are both options. You can't stand in the opponent's sight line, but too far to zap them with your right click. No good. No good. Again, totally fine if you want to heal your soldier from here, not okay healing your soldier from here. No. Self-healing orb, no problem. It's way more heals than you need on BAP. You threw this healing orb out. It was mostly for you. And you also go, hey, I'm going to throw some real heals on the pair of them because I can cleave them here. Great. Fantastic. You're done. Your hog doesn't need any more healing. The orb will do the rest of the work. And you actually have a hot ticking whenever you apply this for about a second or two, closer to 2, from your primary heal. So if you stop healing right now, your BAP will get healed up a little bit more. Or you can keep hard healing your BAP, but your BAP is in a lamp, and he's got cover between him and the opponents. He's pretty low health, but he's not that vulnerable. So you could let the hot tick a little bit and then reapply. Because once you reapply, you'll get a little more direct healing, and you'll have a new hot for 2 seconds. Or if you just keep hard healing, you'll keep overriding your little hot. Which is what you're doing. So he could already be full health. You've healed him way more than the amount of it takes to get him to full health if you'd interrupted yourself and let the hot tick a little bit. And that could have meant that you had this much resource left instead of this much. And that kind of thing adds up. It really does. I'm not saying you just spurt heal him and don't do any direct healing, just do tiny, tiny little puffs, because the chances of this turning into a bad situation quickly were too high. There was a Genji up top, there's an advancing team, so I wanted you to do some direct healing, but I wanted you to have this much resource left. It's not nap time? Hot equals heal over time? Yes. It's not nap time? I wish it were. Wouldn't that be great? Cool. Turn and zap him. You're fine. Turn and zap him. Good. And now you want to probably heal orb. Probably wanted to heal orb. Both you and the BAP are missing health. This damage orb is going to get deflected basically immediately. Good. He already spent it. Deflect wasn't still on. I was worried it was. Okay, that's good.
I cast this forth.
I still would have probably gone for the healer, but okay. And we're just slow to follow him there, because that was a finish-offable Genji. Not actually finish-offable, but, like, get him scared finish-offable. So not really finish-offable. Again, he is safe. Your BAP is safe up there. Your BAP is safe up there. He's above half health. No problem. We could easily stop healing, and his health would easily go up to, like, here. And then we could just do another little spurt of healing, and his health would go up to there. Like, it would be fine. It would be fine if we stopped healing right now. And it would preserve our resources for when we actually need it. Because our BAP's in no danger. Oh, we did. Good. Okay. I don't know why we went back this way, though. This was scary. Like, I was too low health. You were too low health before you went this way. You wanted to follow your BAP up the stairs and see if he'd heal you, like you'd been healing him.
This is my will.
Junkrat primed and ready.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective.
I wonder what a cookie rat is, though it sounds like the best kind of rat. Fair, fair. Is someone's got to be named that? Yeah. Okay. So again, you're playing pretty aggressive. You're playing positioning where it's like, hey, I want to be able to get right-click damage, and I can live with that, but I want real cover available to you if that's what you're doing. This is kind of real cover that you're playing around. This is real cover, but it would be really aggressive real cover. If that's what you need, so be it, but, like, I don't like you being in the open like this. I want you very tight on your cover. Very aware of your cover if you're going to try to get this aggressive with your right-click. Like, I don't want you going like, I'm going to stand right here. No. No, I am not. This is better. No. No, I am not willing to stand here. You can't make me. I can stand here and zap through my hog. I can go here and zap from an angle. I can step behind this fully and heal my hog. Like, those are all options. This is not an option. Where's my cover? Whoa, now. I don't want to be fully in front of my team. It's a little dicey as Moira because you end up in these situations where it's like, I want to zap from here while my team's shooting from here. But you have to maintain a high level of awareness of what your team's health and positioning situation is if you're doing that. So, the classic silver tank lineup of Roadhog Diva, fun. Yeah. So, what's your team situation? Should you be damaging right now? Or should you throw a quick spurt heal on your Roadhog? Should you throw a quick spurt heal on your Junkrat? Should you pull your positioning back a little bit? I mean, I know, but you don't know that right now. You have plenty of resource. You're over 95% resource. You can absolutely justify and better use of your time right now is a spurt heal to cap off Junk and to cap off Hog. That's way better than this. The only thing this is doing for you right now is a minuscule amount of damage, a little bit of resource regen that we really don't care about, and a little bit of health regen is actually the best thing it's doing for you right now. So, like, don't do this. Tuck and heal. See, now your Junkrat is, like, actually low. And we could fix that so easily. And when we're not even going to check, like, hey, Fire Strike just went by. Did it hit people? How are people doing? Hog is using his cooldown because you didn't heal him. Ew. We could have fixed that. We could have turned. We could have thrown a quick heal. It would have cleaved both of them. It would have been great. And you're still going to have to heal Junk, so it's not, now we just wasted Hog's time. Well, okay. Not only Hog's time, Hog's cooldown too. They're fine. Now you damage. Back to heals. You want to mix just a tiny bit of damage in there if you think you can afford it, because it gives the hot a moment to do work. But now you see everyone's critical again, so you're going to go back to heals. Yes, even though they're in a lamp.
Surrender to my will.
This isn't going to be amazing. I can live with it, but I hope you hard enable a tank. Is D.Va your tank? No, you're not.
Tactical visor up.
Okay. So,
Yes.
here's how Coalescence actually works. With Coalescence, you have two options. Option 1, I pick an enemy squishy, a 200 HP hero, that I think is more than like 2 seconds from cover, second and a half, 2 seconds from cover, and I zap them with it. And I stick to them. Even if it means giving up cleave damage on everyone else, I do my best to stick to them without completely compromising my own safety to actually eliminate them. And if it takes me 3 seconds to do so, 4 seconds to do so, 2 seconds to do so, great. But that is the thing I do. I pick a squishy. If I can cleave other people while sticking to this squishy, that's totally fine, and I'm going to want to do so. But if I have to give up cleave, even if I have to give up cleaving 3 other people, I'm going to do so to stick to the squishy to try to actually turn it into an elimination. That is the first thing I can reasonably do with a Coalescence. The second thing I can reasonably do with a Coalescence is hard enable one of my tanks. Let one of my tanks just hard brawl with opponents, possibly with other tanks. And I'm going to hard enable them, and that's going to let them brawl harder than they normally would. It's going to let them charge their ult faster than they would. It's going to let them be more aggressive than they would. And I'm preferably going to do this when they're already brawling or just about to be brawling. And this could be that type of situation, because you have a Hog here, a D.Va here, a Rein here of the other team, so you could like pocket your Hog as he fights the Rein, pocket your D.Va as it fights the Rein. And it's very likely that you'll be able to get good cleave, perhaps on your other tank, almost certainly on the tank that your tank is fighting, or the DPS that your tank is fighting. But again, your priority is to stick to the tank. You will happily take other cleave damage that is there. You will adjust your aim to get more cleave damage, but your priority is to stick to the tank that you were on enabling. These are the two prime things that you're trying to do with Coalescence. After you've accomplished, say you got an elimination, you could try to find another elimination, or you could downshift to doing this. Or you could even just downshift to max cleave. After you've already accomplished, hey, my tank got their ult and hit shatter, sure, I could downshift to max cleave. Hey, I got my elimination on the 200 HP hero, I could downshift to max cleave. Those are things that you could do. But you can't start on this, and you can't start on this and upshift to this. And you can't start on this and upshift to this or this. Those aren't things. Those aren't things. You can start on this and downshift, preferably after you get value or it just becomes clear, nope, I'm not going to be able to get it. They got behind cover. You can start on this, and after they like hit their shatter, use their grab, whatever, don't have an opponent they're fighting anymore and they're full health because they already finished their opponent, just go, hey, I'm going to get max cleave of heals and damage. But this is how Coalescence works. You don't always have to get this. It's perfectly fine to get this instead. But this is how Coalescence works. Let's watch what your Coalescence does. Oh, sorry, Blah. I tuned it out. Sorry, that was annoying. I get it. You decide here that you're going to pocket your D.Va. That is what this decision is. Now you change your mind and you shoot at their Reinhardt. That's not a max cleave. That's shooting at a Reinhardt. He has too much health. Yes, he's in rough positioning, but he has too much health. He is not a good target. He shouldn't ever be your prime target. He could be someone that you're cleaving while you're enabling your D.Va. But that's not what's happening. Okay. So now we could get back on our D.Va and be getting D.Va and Reinhardt. And that would be okay. Now we change our mind and go, I want to eliminate a squishy. Well, this is silver, so that Moira's bad, and you might be able to eliminate that Moira because she's kind of far from cover. She probably has fade, and you probably can't. But you can't really upshift to trying to eliminate a squishy because your Coalescence has now been ticking for this long. Yes, I hear the beeps, guys. This has already been ticking, and this is effectively time that the opponents have had to react to you using Coalescence. And they're going to react by getting closer to cover. At least as they get even a little bit better at the game, they're going to react by doing that. Which means you won't be able to stay on them for the almost 2 seconds you have to get an elimination. So, because they'll just finish going behind the cover that they just started to move closer to when you used your ult. So we didn't want to upshift to this mid-Coalescence. We really didn't, unless we first got a different 200 HP elimination. We wanted to keep enabling that D.Va. We could have started on this Genji, started on this Moira, but it didn't make sense to try to upshift to them. And now we're just like switching targets. Maybe we're on the Moira, and now we're on the Genji. Now we're back on the Moira. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. You mostly have to pick a target and stick to it until you get the elimination with Coalescence. Unless it becomes very clear that you're just not gonna be able to get it. His armor hurts the beam damage a lot. Yes. Oh my gosh, are you oh my godding the beeping? Sorry, Blah. I'm sorry.
This is my
He missed her by inches. Yes, yes. DPS Moira, classic silver. Ouch. Ouch, Nitro Fire, but yeah. Fair. He's playing with a BAP, another main healer, so I think she could afford to DPS more, though that heal orb was definitely late. The heal orb was late, and you can get some DPS in on Moira. Like, it's not wrong to be getting damage done as Moira. And you'll notice I'm talking about aggressive positionings a bit in this review, perhaps a bit more than I normally do, and part of that is because, yes, there is another big healer in play. She has no idea there's a charging Rhine. Oh my god. Was for the charging Rhine pops up in front of her and she's not even looking. Got it. Yeah, you know, minor detail.
Get into position.
Cool.
This was the expected conclusion. This will heal you. Restoring.
Again, I don't want you here. I want you thinking about cover. This is now perfect. Your Hog is taking a more aggressive position, so you can take a slightly more defensive position than him, but still be able to go, aha, I pop over here and zap people. Aha, I pop over here and heal my Hog. Aha, I can throw my healing orb up there. Like, you can operate around this because your Hog has taken this aggressive corner. It's great. Please don't operate in the open.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Hey, Weeby Trolls. Are you here to troll us? You need to track things that will eliminate you, Silver Moira? Saw Moira and had to join. Okay, happy to have you here. Okay, so you got slept? Why did you get slept? Because you wandered into the open? So you faded out, and then, after fading out to a defensive position, you walked right into the open. You walked right into the open here. You don't have any cover. It's not like here where you've sort of got cover. It's not like, oh, let me quickly work my way up to here where I've sort of got cover. And this would be a real little risky of a position to hold without your fade because you used your fade already. So your positioning tends to get a little more defensive after that. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to be in the open. No, we're not going to do that. Hopefully you're rotating, and no, you're not rotating. You like change your mind. You're thinking about going left, then you're going forward. If you wanted to go forward, let's kind of beeline it forward. It doesn't have to be a total beeline. There can be a little bit of evasive movement in there, but let's get ourselves up here if that's what we're doing. Not let's go over here into the open and then walk forward through the open. That's not what we want. And we see Anna sleeping us. Like, that is a sleep animation. We can move. We can't. No. There's nothing to heal. That's a full health Hog. That's a full health Hog. Pay attention to sounds is something I definitely should have learned earlier when I was in Silver. Paying attention to sounds is huge in Overwatch. The sounds are so good. They are so informative, or they used to be. They start getting worse. We've had some questionable stuff with some of them, but in general, the Overwatch sounds are still pretty darn amazing. Fade, dodge, earth shatter, you know the drill. The sounds are pretty darn amazing, extremely informative. So, like, yeah, listening to the sounds, paying attention to what they mean, fantastic. I say as I spent like a good 2 minutes going over Coalescence, what was beeping in everyone's ears. I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes it is confusing if the sound is on your team or the other team, especially in replays, but yes. 4 minutes, that's going to hurt? Yes it is.
Ready for battle.
I was wondering if you'd sign something for me. It's...
Oh, after this match is over. Right now, it's time to get serious.
Ladder sounds belong to the enemy. Keep your head on a swivel. Yep, yep.
All right.
Except sounds are also influenced by distance, so.
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming.
Okay.
End objective A.
Hurry up with that. Allow me to repair the damage.
Right click, right click. What are we doing? My Reinhardt is full health. There's a Doomfist right here. This hand, go. "Rrrr." Yeah. And if he tries to slam on you or punch at you, you can fade towards spawn. No big deal. But you can absolutely apply pressure to him. Absolutely apply pressure to him. Just make sure that there's nothing behind you. Try to angle yourself so there's nothing behind you so that he can't punch you directly into anything, like a car. And you can push him. You can absolutely pressure him. Put him on a timer. Put damage on him. Put him on a timer. It might be a long timer, but put him on a timer for having to leave with damage. That's not it. This is just like healing the hog this full health. Not the thing. Okay, your Reinhardt was missing less than 10 health. Fine. Still no.
This will heal you.
You hear the Doomfist?
Restore you.
Good on you to look for him. He's probably above. He's further left. Don't get naded. Okay. Okay. Could we throw a healing orb in their direction to help them out with this Doomfist? I bet we could. I bet we could. It would be pretty great.
This will restore you.
Now you're going to have to fade across, because Reinhardt sort of left you here. Fade, 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 fade. That was not the way I wanted to fade. So I did want to fade after Doomfist hits you, because I'm too worried he'll fall up on me, and that he's going to leave me in the open where they can fall up on me. But I wanted to fade this way where I could interact with my team. If I fade this way, I now can't help my team with anything except my orb, and that doesn't really work for me. And I'm not willing to walk back across that opening. Yes, I see the Sigma shields there. Their Sigma shield. Like, we don't want it. It's more important to protect the shield. Okay.
Group up with me. Group up.
Nardstorm says, "Dear lower metal ranks, don't walk out of spawn on the far left on Volskaya. Sincerely, someone who's sick of seeing this trick work 5 years into the game." That's the truth. That's the truth. If you guys aren't doing a sim TP play, why? Why would you go this way? Ever. But hey.
Meteor strike.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Moira Zen versus Babson. Okay. I don't actually think that's the verse that's happening right now. I think it's Doomfist versus
I
red
need
team.
healing.
Excuse
Join
me,
with me.
Doomfist versus blue team that is happening right now. But hey.
My will made real.
I guess Doomfist Zen. That's our Omni Orbs. Doomfist Zen. And Ryan's had some action. Heal the Reaper. Swap damage. Leave. Heal him. Hard. Okay. It's over. Leave. You're down 3 people. It's not happening. I mean, if they're just gonna donate ults, I guess that's silver. Are you kidding? Come on! Like, this fight is over, so you should just reset. But if we're gonna stay in this fight, Are we going to heal these people? Are we going to walk up here a little bit to heal? Or are we just going to, as Blah was saying, suck the shield here? We're not going to damage the shield. Like, no. No, if you have nothing better to do, sure. But these are something better to do right now. An even better thing to do would be, yep, I'm out. Let me go over here, and I'll just wait for my team to be ready for a real push. But what do I know?
Repairing the damage. Getting position.
Right click, right click. Fade. Fine. Right click, right click. You're at 100 health. It's fine. That's fine. No problem. There's a Doomfist coming at your face. There's a Doomfist coming at your face. You're not at 200 health. You don't have Fade. The reaction is not Q. The reaction is not Q. The reaction is, oh, I guess I'm going to Q next fight. That is the reaction.
Surrender to my will.
That just makes me so sad. You'll also note this didn't really fulfill your objectives of, is there a squishy that I'm just going to hard eliminate? Well, maybe the Doomfist. Maybe. If he missed you, you might be able to go, okay, now I'm going to Q and eliminate him. That could potentially be a thing. Is there a tank that you're going to enable? Well, your Reinhardt really isn't in the other Reinhardt's face yet, so not really. Is there a squishy over there you're going to eliminate? Well, no, you can't aim over there because there's a Doomfist in your face. So no, we don't fulfill our objectives for this Kamehameha. Moira needs to work on increasing their actions. It's a little bit like a deer in the headlights. Kind of, yeah, but that just happens. I mean, if this is first account at level 84 and they don't have, like, even if they do have a lot of PC gaming experience, like this is, you know, it takes a while to get used to Overwatch. It's not that weird. You just need to start thinking about, okay, what caused this? What took me down? What eliminated me? Doomfist does a slam, then he does this uppercut thing. Got it. Okay, next thing. Okay, Doomfist gets healed and is harder to take down when he's got this Harmony Orb thing attached to him. Okay, got it. I can, in fact, get eliminated without getting nothing done with my ult, so I want to hold my ult for the next fight. Okay, got it. You know, you just work these problems through one at a time. Nothing to get too discouraged over.
Good as new.
Okay.
60 seconds.
That should be better.
Reinhardt doesn't really need your repair back. Reaper does.
Fixing you up.
Good patience to not repair back Rein there. I'll live with it. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I know he's weak. But he has a 1600. I know, he's discorded at 21 health. I get it. But he's got a 1600 health barrier that can block in this direction if he wants to. You have a 250 health barrier. Maybe we don't go body blocking for the Rhine. I'm thinking we don't do that one. I think the situations where we do that are very niche. Very niche. You can repair pack him. It's not amazing, but you can do it. The Reaper would be a better repair pack, but you're going to have a tough time peeking that now. Whip shot the lamp?
Help me.
No. You can't go brawl like this. No, no. How Brig actually works these days, I don't know if you've played when she was a different hero, but you peek, you throw a whip shot, you unpeek, and you let your Inspire tick and heal everyone. You peek with your shield up, you throw your repair pack on your Reaper, you unpeek. You peek with your shield up, you throw your repair pack on Maybe a Reaper again. You unpeak. Okay, you're good. Oh, someone's coming back here after your McCree, who've you repair packed? Great. Let me bash them and stun them, and let me whip shot them away type thing. Oh, a Winston's jumping in. Let me whip shot them away type thing. That's how we play Brig in the modern era. We don't try to walk at Junkrats and Sigmas without rally. We don't do that, and especially not when our Reaper isn't walking with us.
My barrier stops.
It's a trap. You don't need to swing your weapon. Your weapon's damage isn't all that good. You need to proc Inspire, which swinging your weapon can do, but you can do that with Whip Shot.
30 seconds.
Get ready for a shot. Meteor strike. Double time. Oh, turn it up.
Okay, Blob. Not sure I would charge a Junkrat with Rally. Fair.
10 seconds.
Now Lucio. Okay. Oh yeah. You're gonna jump over Reinhardt's head. I like it. Okay. So really, as you were wall riding around there, you can wall ride without looking at the wall. You can turn and you can shoot at the opponents. That's going to get you a little more ult charge. Maybe eventually you get beat and that wins, but not really. Okay, so things that we're actually going to have you work on Moira, because that's a hero that we can talk about here.
5.
On Moira.
Ready for battle.
Moira? Okay. Things we can actually talk about on Moira. Don't do this. Don't be standing here. Like, it's actually going to be important for you on Moira to not just stand in the open. Moira's positioning can be a little confusing, especially if you're trying to play a more aggressive Moira, because you can end up in situations where it's like, well, I want to be able to hurt them, and being able to hurt the opponents means I can't always see all of my teammates, so I don't always know what everyone's health looks like. So I get it. Moira's positioning can be challenging. It can. If you're willing to lean a little harder into her heals and a little away from her damage, or if teams push in concentrated, bundled up ways, that's great. You go, oh, hey, I heal. But like defensively holding, I get that it can be challenging. But what we absolutely can't do is we can't just chill in the open. We can't go, let me angle out like this further into the open. We can like heal our hog from here. We can heal our hog from here. We can damage people through our hog. We can just hold our right click up through our hog and trust that there's something on the other side, and we'll get sound feedback if we're hitting it, and it'll do a little bit of auto lock on for us, so we don't have to aim perfectly. That's fine. Let's take advantage of that. And our hog will like body block Junkrat nades that are coming through for us, and we'll be okay. Cool, we're using him as a shield. We can also go, hey, my hog's here. Let me get aggressive and peek over here. And if they're not paying attention, I'll do damage. And if they start to look at me, I'll peek back behind here and go back to healing my hog, or go back to damaging through my hog. Those could be things. Those could be things. I'm not going to just play in the open. I'm also not going to, while damaging here, angle out like this for no good reason. That's not a thing that I'm willing to do. So I'm not willing to play in the open with Moira. I'm not willing to play where the opponents can see me, but are out of my right click range. I also don't have cover, and I also can't really heal my hog over here or my Junkrat behind me without turning. I'm not going to do those things, or maybe it was your soldier behind you, I don't remember. So I'm not going to stand in this open space. I'm going to be much more cognizant of what's my cover? 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 Even if I'm using aggressive cover that would generally be thought of as tank cover, which I don't love, but I can live with, I'm still at least aware that I have cover against the opponents. And if I get pressured hard, I'll fade and use safer cover, and then I'll play less aggressive until I have fade back. That's how I want you to think about your positioning for now on Moira. As this, hey, I gotta know where my cover is. I gotta know where my cover is. Second thing I want you to do is, even though you only had 2 coalescences this match, I do want you to understand the coalescence. The coalescence diagram I gave you of, hey, we're using our coalescence to get an elimination on our squishy, and we know what a squishy we're trying to get the elimination on before we press the button, and we see that they're more than 2 seconds from cover, or at least 1.5 seconds from cover. That's a big deal. Or to enable a tank that is about to be, or preferably already is, brawling with other heroes. So I can hard pocket that tank to let them sustain, let them be silly aggressive, let them charge their ult, and it's going to be really hard for me not to cleave the opposing tank that they're fighting, my other tank that's helping them, maybe the opposing off tank that's helping that tank, or vice versa. Like, that's how I want you to use your coalescences. I really do. And you might be going, Temporal, why are you covering coalescence? That applied to one, but the other coalescence was just junk and there wasn't more. Well, I'm doing it because it's a really effective way to get more value out of Moira. Like, it is, and you should do it. Like, that's going to be a big deal. There's way more stuff we could get into, but that's a big topic for you that you can work on. Whereas the other stuff that we would have to get into would be like, okay, well, this is how you challenge Doomfist. This is how you go like this. This is, okay, you need to think about, do you see the incoming spam here? Like, you've got a lot of Overwatch to learn. You do, and that's clear, and that's fine. You can totally learn more Overwatch, but some of the things that are going to make this easier are if you upgrade your positioning to always know where your cover is and preferably be close to it, and if you go, hey, with Moira, I can use this coalescence thing to have a pretty big impact if I understand I'm trying to start on a squishy and eliminate them, or I'm going to hard enable my tank. Those are things that are going to work well for you. If I gave you a third thing, it would just be a, hey, be a lot faster to swap to that damage when the Doomfist comes in. Like, and please stop healing full health tanks. Like, stop healing your full health Roadhog, your full health Rhine when there's something that you can damage boost, or there's cover that you can go behind. Like, don't heal full health, people, and please be faster to put the right click on some of these damage dealers that show up if you don't have healing to do, because that puts a timer on them. That puts a pressure on them for how long they can stay in before they'll just get eliminated by your auto aim, and you were kind of too slow to do so. But that'll come with time. I get it. I get it. Okay, if you or anyone else has questions, go ahead and throw them up in chat now. If you are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. So let me catch up on chat. Okay, Weeby Troll says, in my opinion, Moira needs to stick to her tanks, not backline. If she needs to dump her heals, she needs to be up there to get her resources back. She's not good in long, drawn-out fights. So, congratulations, you've identified one of the problems with Moira. That's sort of true, but you know what else is sort of true? The first responsibility for keeping a support alive, besides themselves, is the other support. So if you're Moira and you're only thinking about your front line and your BAP gets eliminated by a Genji Tracer that show up, or your Zen gets eliminated by a Tracer Sombra or whatever, and you didn't put any heals on them, I'm going to judge you. You needed to fade back there and heal them. You absolutely had to be aware of it. Now, does Moira work better in comps that play tighter, where those people aren't very far away from her? Yes, she does. Fundamental flaw of Moira in some ways. You have to be aware of what's happening behind you. It sucks. A lot of supports get to play in these positions where they can sort of see their whole team easily. Moira, if she plays in these positions, can have some resource management issues. So, and, can have some, hey, I'm not getting right-click pressure on them issues. So yeah, it's a tough situation, but you absolutely have to be aware of what's happening in your backline, even if your highest and best use, generally speaking, is, hey, let me just fire hose heal my tank as he just swings hard into the opponent. Keep spraying your health onto your full health tanks, but only short bursts to keep healing over time on the team. No, you still have to be somewhat predictive that damage is coming in. You're not going to completely just roll hot forever on your tank, especially if there's something better to do, like, hey, I can put damage on this Genji. Trying to target immobile supports like Ana Zen is my favorite thing to do with Coalescence while using main tanks as a pivot. Yep. The spray gives healing over time. It's pretty amazing. But again, you don't need to keep spamming it. You can spam it. You're like, hey, I do it 4 seconds later, 5 seconds later, 6 seconds later, I do it again. Like, that's okay. That's okay. Poor Ana, her worst enemy is the Moira damage orb, and she doesn't fare much better against the Moira Coalescence. You have to keep your head on a swivel earlier, as I said. Moira needs to peel. Yes, absolutely. We'll get back up to earlier. Your heals continue to heal a couple seconds after you let go of left click. You can maximize ult generation by not healing people to full and then do damage. Your heal and damage at the same time. Yes, and that is something that we got into here as well, where it's the while your heal is going and people are relatively healthy, try to sneak a little damage in and then reapply your heal because it'll refresh your dot, and they're going to need some harder healing because you weren't direct healing them for a bit there. Like when his teammates were in the lamp, there was a time that we talked about that. And yes, that is absolutely useful, though there are times that you just can't let go of the fire hose. You got to hold down the fire hose. But if you've been managing your resources well until that point, you're able to hold down the fire hose, and holding down the fire hose of healing should get you the rest of the way to the ult, which will be your bailout card into a, okay, I'm going to support my tank with it situation. I feel like Moira's only good support partner is Lucio. I think she needs some changes. I mean, they tried to give her just a raw power upgrade by removing, like 20% of her cooldown time on her orb? And that's a lot of a power upgrade, like removing 20% of the cooldown distance of something. Like, woof, that's powerful. Especially on a cooldown that isn't completely junk. But then they're like, oh no, we think she's too powerful. We're going to hurt her resource gen while whatever it was with that last change. Like her issue is in her design. Like you need to give her something a little different utility wise. Maybe you actually turn her into a more serious hot healer. That could be an option. Though that would be very different than what she does now. Maybe you give her some real utility, like while her hot is ticking on someone, it treats their health as armor. Like you could do something like that of, suddenly this opens up stuff. Maybe you do something, but right now her utility is I can throw an orb that does healing or damage. Well, we have lots of healing and damage options. That doesn't sound like speed boost. That doesn't sound like damage amp. That doesn't sound like res. That doesn't sound like a projected repair pack, which is even more useful because, hey, my flanker can use this more effectively. That doesn't sound like nade. Oh, that doesn't sound like lamp. That doesn't sound like AoE healing nades that, again, can help because the way that the game is played in most situations, it's with angle control with your team with some level of spread, which she doesn't do very well because now the targets that she wants to go heal are spread out. She really only does well in the brawl phase, which is a problem for her. Maybe if she could do more to enable the team to get into the brawl phase, that would be legit, but that might make her too powerful. She kind of needs a redesign, but I don't think she's going to get it. Maybe she will for 2, but hey. That often determined fights during double shield who got Cole first? Yes, that is true. I don't know. I don't think she's weak with anyone. I mean, weaker than normal. She could use a buff. Yeah, she could use a buff. I think that is probably true. Maybe you misunderstood, or maybe you're trolling me. No, let's see. I was kind of defending the idea that Moira isn't allowed to damage, and when you said that you shouldn't... I was kind of defending the idea that Moira isn't allowed to damage, and when you said that you shouldn't spray heal on full tanks. Oh, well, I mean, Moira is allowed to damage. It's how she gets her resource back. Were you devil's advocating? Like, I'm... sorry. It'll make sense. Makes more sense as I go back there. As I go back and read your previous comments, which I'll do. I'm just sort of bouncing around it at the moment here. It's okay to roll your hot on a full health tank, especially if you think they're going to take damage, but damage pressure is good too. Again, put that Genji on a timer type thing. Not trolling, just a lot of hours on Moira. Okay. If you have anything in the sky, it's probably not being healed by Moira. Right, and the sky is an angle. Many angles. Moira's good at speeding you through the spawn room to swap, then swap back to Batbana. She's good at that. She's also good at last point defense, but again, that's a painful utility. Like, what's your utility? My utility is on last point defense. We're going to swap to me because, and we will be bunched up on the point because everyone is going to the point. Like, ugh, that's rough. Mm-hmm. Uh, didn't switching to a YouTube exclusive end owl. No, I mean it hurt it, sure, but I don't think that was the blow. I think that was one of the things, but I think bigger contributors were there's some difficulty to it as a spectator game. Um, Another big difficulty, and I think this is the one that's hardest to defend, was hey, it doesn't really work to have goats, which is a meta that players didn't really engage in, didn't really enjoy from a viewership perspective. Coaches, it's great for coaches, but players didn't really enjoy spectating it. You can't like throw random people who don't follow the game in there very well. They let that be meta during what needed to be a very successful season for them for too long. The first season met their benchmarks and was adequately successful, and the second season was goats for basically the entire season, and that was very bad. And then you had the third season, and after the second season kind of went worse than it was supposed to, got sort of a half done sort of version of Homesteads. And that wasn't great either, but that's sort of feeding back to the second season going kind of poorly there. So yeah, I would say that would have been a bigger piece. But, you know, everyone can come up with their own beliefs on what it was. She hurt Owl viewership and top streamers hated her, but it was fun when your team did not peel for you, so you just switched to Brig since she was oh, got it. Yes, so we're talking about Brig. Okay. It was such a ham-fisted solution. Like, Brig was like, we are ending dive with one hero, and you just can't pump that much power, that much control over a match into one hero. You just can't. And she didn't immediately spawn Goat. She actually first spawns Double Sniper, which might seem weird for a melee range hero, but she did it by going, I completely eliminate dive in her original format, and if you try to switch to the thing that punishes Double Sniper, dive, we can swap anyone to Brig, and we've completely destroyed your ult economy and all of your swaps, and you lose at least the next team fight, probably the next couple team fights as a result. You can't have one hero counter an entire composition like that. You can have one hero be a part of a counter, but you can't have it work like that. Now she's in better shape, where it's like, okay, if you've got Brig plus Kree, you've probably got enough stun control to be annoying. If you have like Brig and May, okay, you have enough bulk, stun control, whatever, to be annoying. You can do stuff like that to be a problem. But she was too controlling, and that was a terrible way to design a hero. With like we're designing this hero not to be cool, not to do something that we have in mind, like a cool concept, but like to end dive. Like what? And of course it took them forever to come back from that balance. Yeah, that discussion was spawned by what I was talking about with the 250 HP shield versus when she had the 600 HP shield. I would charge junk with most things. Fair, fair. Are you horrible for missing when Brig was frontline? Well, I don't know if you're horrible, but I don't miss it. If you had walked backwards and jumped right before he slammed you might have gotten out with one health. Maybe, maybe. Someone needs to switch to Summer and hack the health packs to counter Doom. I mean, they didn't have a Zarya. You could have just hacked the Doom. But hey, maybe Blah's being the troll. It's like they're maybe devoting all their focus on the Doom. Well, he was making that sort of necessary, and he was still winning. So it was like Doom, Zen, and Ryan were just like, yep, we can do this by themselves, and they could. Doomfist is unstoppable in bronze and silver. Well, if the Doomfist themselves isn't bronze or silver, yeah. But if the Doomfist themselves is bronze or silver, they'll go in with terrible timing. And even if everyone's aim is bad, 6 people on him will eventually take him down. And he'll eventually mess up and hit a rollout poorly and not hit someone. All these things. Tanky, it's not easy for one person to eliminate him. I think that's probably in relationship to Doom. And that's relatively true. He's balanced like that. He's balanced to extra health, generating shields when he hits abilities. Team is dying. Boy, yes, shield bad. Yeah. The biggest Doomfist counter to Doomfist is shooting him. Agreed. People just don't shoot him in lower ranks. Right. And you have that with flankers in general. You have that with flankers in general in lower ranks. And I see this too often, and it's something we work on with players where, there's a flanker on them, supports, hit scans, more often supports. Let me just run away from it. And hopefully someone else on my team will deal with it. And no, you actually have to shoot at them. This happens to Tracers, Genjis, Sombras, as it happens to, they don't shoot at Tracers, Genjis, Sombras, Pharahs, or Doomfists. Like, you can't just be like, hopefully someone else will deal with it. You have to actually shoot at them, even though they're big, fast-moving target. Or not big, even though they're smaller than the Reinhardts and the Winstons, and they move faster than the Reinhardts and the Hogs. You gotta shoot at them. Okay, and I think we're basically caught up here. Okay. Okay, anything else that I missed here as I was catching up on chat? Mm-hmm. 222 should have been in the game since release. It could have been. Part of how things got out of whack, though, it wasn't just Brig. Part of how things got out of whack was kind of the buff and nerf cycle. Like, Blizzard decided to buff sustain over time, and you saw that with heroes they released. They released heroes like Moira, then heroes like Brig, and they released Anna even, and I like Anna, and I'm fine with Moira and Brig, truth be told too, but like, they were releasing, hey, Anna was a big sustain jump compared to Mercy, Zen, and Lucio before. Like, Anna was a big sustain jump in terms of, there's more sustain in the game. And then Moira wasn't necessarily a jump because Anna was already in the game, but had way more self-survivability. Flankers couldn't take her out and things like that, and she could break up almost anything that could come after her with Fade, and she could sustain herself. And then we had Brig, who same thing, flankers couldn't really pick on, and added a ton of sustain through another aura healer, and that armor pack, and more armor, and rally. Like, we added a lot more sustain to the game, and by we, I mean Blizzard. And when you add more sustain to the game, that makes your characters that have bigger health pools. If you add more sustain to the game, one of the only ways to solve team fights is with one-shots. So your best heroes become the heroes that can't be one-shot, because you can sustain those heroes. These heroes offer a lot of less hog, but heroes like Reinhardt offer the best peel because they have things like shields. D.Va has things like defense matrix. Zarya has bubbles. So they can protect the squishy heroes that can be one shot better than a Genji, a McCree, etc. can. And they themselves can't be one shot by most of the one shot threats. So when you buffed sustain, some of it through actual buffs, some of it through releasing heroes who simply supplied more sustain than general, that was going to make tanks better. Like, that was always going to be a thing because tanks already had high peel. And if the sustain couldn't keep up with the damage, tanks naturally get a little bit worse. Is Briggs low skill floor, or was that where I was? I'd take watching Goats over Hogball or Hog Sigma any day. They've all got their place. She's in a good spot now. Good playtime with Al, with Anna. That's fair. Is Briggs low skill floor also part of the problem with being the solution to dive? Part of it, but not really. Like, one hero being the entirety of the solution just didn't work. Like, that can't be a thing. Again, one hero swap breaking the entire team's ult economy, basically meaning you win the team fight, very likely, and they have to swap off their heroes before the next team fight is just it's too much. It was too consistent at doing that. No, it's because of her existence itself. It ushered a completely new meta that doesn't have to do with skill floor. Right. But I also found Dive utterly boring, so maybe I'm biased. Dive was amazing. You're wrong, but that's okay. Someday you'll see the light. Poke's fine too, and so is Brawl. Like, I don't actually have any issue with any of them, but Dive was amazing. They're all pretty good. No, it's because her existence. Diva being able to make Monkey immortal for 4 seconds because the original Matrix was so OP was dumb. Excuse me? Original Matrix was garbage. Original Matrix was absolute garbage. Original Matrix didn't have a toggle option. You held it on and you channeled the ability and you couldn't turn it off, and then it went on a pretty long cooldown after it was done or after you canceled it to do anything. But I know what you mean. You mean the Matrix that had the Diva that had 400 armor, that had 4 seconds of Matrix, that could use Matrix in basically any increment she wanted, that had almost non-existent internal cooldown on toggling it back on. I know, and that had a faster recharge time on regaining Matrix resource. Yes, that Diva was quite busted. I agree. All the streamers mentioned how brain dead Brig is, so I wondered if you thought her skill floor was also part of a problem. No, I don't think that was the real part of her problem. I don't care because her skill floor isn't relevant when you're talking about Owl. Her skill floor is relevant to the ladder, but her skill floor isn't relevant to what she did to the top end ladder. And again, guys, I liked Goats. So like I liked Goats and I was fine with Goats. I have no problems with Goats. Dive is my favorite of the three, but I liked Goats and I was quite successful coaching during Goats. So like I got no beef with Goats like from a like oh this I have no beef with the concept or the meta itself. So no, I don't really think that's a big deal. There's like it's maybe poor from a game design standpoint that a hero that can do so much to shut down a thing is low skill floor, but being able to shut it down all by yourself, basically all by yourself, just shouldn't be a thing. Full stop. I don't really care about how much skill it takes to drive. Cuz that argument is sort of like well, it's okay if Tracer can 1v6 the other team every time because she's really hard to play. If the other team is playing, you know, anything except Symmetra, and I'm making that up, or anything except this special non-existent version of McCree that actually, no, except Torb. We'll go with that, except Torb. So if the other team isn't playing Torb, Tracer can just 1v6 them almost every time, but you have to be really good at her. No, that's not a particularly well-designed game either. And that wouldn't really work either, because it would mean every composition has to include Torb, except for some cheese offensive compositions where you know that the opponents, where you've already scouted that the opponents aren't on Tracer. Or you can afford to gamble because you're on offense and you can go back and swap type thing. And you guys might go, okay, well, if you're saying all that, the next person to think about would be Widow, and there is some truth there, but Widow at least is answered more by herself, which is actually a little better, as weird as that is. And Widow can also be shut down. Best way to shut her down really is another Widow that's being assisted well by dive heroes, but dive heroes by themselves have tools to contain her, to handle her, even if it's not perfect. Is that it for streams tonight? Yes, this will be it for streams tonight. Yes, rally armor was better than normal armor for quite a long time. Okay. I think that's going to do it. Again, if you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as I really do appreciate that. I'm not seeing anything else in chat here, so we'll call it there. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.